Howdy. So today we're going to put a water filter on this faucet in my rental. I just put my faucet back together the way that it was when we moved in. And this, you can see I'm replacing my old filter. But I just wanted to show you the process from beginning to end. It's not sponsored by any filter companies or anything, but I just think that if you're a renter, especially if you're a woman, a single mom or whatever, you need to know how to do this. It's gonna save you a lot of money on bottled water. I never ever buy bottled water anymore. It's terrible for so many reasons. It's a waste of money. And so this is what I've been doing for like 15 years that I've been on my own on city water as a renter, and it's pretty easy. So what I'm gonna install today is a pure faucet filter. These are the best, I think, based on the quality, like the durability of the hardware itself. And the testing that they do to make sure that they're filtering out as much stuff as possible. Again, this is not sponsored by Pure, it's just for 15 years, this is the faucet filter brand that I've used. So, they show you their testing certifications here. And they tell you exactly what they filter out. So 99.9% of any lead that might be in your water, mercury, pesticides, and it reduces chlorine, particularly the taste and the odor, which is like the biggest thing that I absolutely hate about being on city water. I grew up in the country and we had well water, so I will never ever get used to that. The one thing it does say is that it does not filter out fluoride, which is good for your teeth, particularly if you don't have access to good dental care. I know that there are some health concerns about fluoride in water. I am not well versed in that, so I leave that up to you to make your decisions about that. I will also say, if you are ever like unsure about the quality of your water, even with a filter, your state public universities should have some water testing services for you, where you can send them a sample, or they'll send you a kit to test your own water and see exactly what's in there. So I do recommend that you look into that. What else can I tell you before we unbox this? They advertise, there's multiple ways they tell you exactly how to install this. They've got diagrams here, and they tell you you don't need tools, and I have found that to be totally true. I mean, I have very small, like, lady hands. You don't need a tool to do this ever. Alright, so this is a new one that I just opened, or that I just bought, so we're gonna open it. So they give you, I bought this one, it's probably the most expensive faucet filter model. It has this extra attachment that gives you a spray, which I really like for like washing your vegetables. So that's what this attachment is. They give you 3 different attachments for your faucet, so we'll go through that in a second. Of course, they give you the instruction booklet and more information about like the chemical removing process. And then they always give you a coupon, actually, so make sure you save that for your replacement filters. They also, I just took this out already, but they give you a starter filter. You can also buy them in, I think, 2-packs and 4-packs. So 4 packs will get you through the whole year. A filter, they recommend that you change it every 3 months. So that's usually what I try to do if I'm on top of things. And then here's the actual faucet attachment. So this will end up on my faucet like this. This is the spray attachment, which I guess is optional, but if you're paying for it, you may as well use it. And if you're not familiar with this type of faucet filter, I think they're kind of all like this at this point. This is just a little switch to divert the water to the filter part, or if you're just washing dishes, I usually just use regular tap water. So that's up to you, but that's basically how it works. So the first thing you need to do is on your faucet, you want to remove any, like the end cap with the any sprayer or anything on here, and you can usually do this just with your bare hands. You want to kind of see which direction the threads are going, and make sure you hold on to this if you're a renter, so that make sure it's like in a safe spot and you know exactly where it is, so you can put it back on when you move out. Especially the rubber ring that's inside here. So I usually just put it like in a drawer next to my sink. So we don't need this now because the faucet is going to take its place. And if you're not familiar with this terminology, these like ridges on the faucet, or even like on a juice bottle or something, those are called the threads. So that's what I'm talking about when I say threads. And now I'm going to go back to, they give you 3 different adapters depending on what kind of faucet you have. So on mine, I can see the threads right here. So that's an external thread faucet, and they tell you which adapter goes with which kind of faucet. And they tell you right here also, you may not need one. So if you don't need one, you're good. I think from last time, I don't need one on this particular faucet, but if this were slightly different, like I might try the one that says external threaded faucets. So I can just get rid of this. All these like metal bits and pieces, if you're not going to use them, I would, give them to somebody who recycles scrap metal. Don't just throw them out. It's a resource you can use. You could even like take the black rubber O-rings out of here. Like you may need them for something at some point, or you may need to use it in like a different faucet. So, just you paid for it, so just like use whatever you can, right? So the first thing I want to do after getting this ready, I'm going to actually put the filter, in the unit. So this, as you can see, it's going to fit right inside there, and this cap twists right off. So it's going to sit right in there, and I'll show you what it looks like inside. So this is the actual filter unit. It has like charcoal and stuff in there that is what is actually chemically and physically filtering your water after it comes out of the tap. So you can see there's this kind of opening, and inside here looks like it's gonna just fit right in. So that's really all you have to do. It's not tricky at all. You just fit it in and it clicks, and then the cap goes back on, and you just align your threads, try to get it right. So it's nice and tight, and that's really it. I can say, having used these for like 15 years, like I said, the design is much easier now. So basically I can pretty much just click this right on my faucet like nothing. There is already in here the black rubber O-ring, so I would just want to make sure that that stays there. If I'm getting interrupted by kids or something, I definitely don't want to lose that. This black part does twist independently, so that's really what you're going to use to attach it to your faucet. Some of the other models are even more simple. You can literally just click it right on. This one, you do need to line up the threads, and you just twist that on. And it might take you a few tries because it's got to be really lined up correctly, which is not as easy as it looks, but you can figure it out. I believe in you. It's not going at all. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright, so I try to make that pretty snug just using my hands. If you have arthritis or any other like disability where just like your hands are more sensitive or you can't get a good grip, you can try to use a wide wrench to do any of this stuff. I would say just put, you know, a cloth in between so the wrench doesn't scratch it all up, because that is probably going to affect how it fits. You want to make sure that it's nice and tight in there so that the water doesn't leak out. So that's pretty much it. Like, I could use this as is right now. So this is the unfiltered water, and if I flip this, it's got to fill this up first because it's the first time I'm using it, and then it's going to come through on the filtered side. But I'm going to attach this sprayer attachment, and oh, we're having a thunderstorm, so this is like faucet installation ASMR. So this has a little cap that is keeping everything tidy in there. You can see hopefully this big black rubber O-ring, and I should have done this first. Alright, so I think I'm not following the direction book, obviously. So I just made this more difficult for myself. Okay, so this comes with an extra like spacer for some reason. I don't need that, so I'm just gonna set it aside. This guy does not fit in there. Okay, so for the sprayer attachment, I'm not gonna take more time on the video to like figure this out, but it looks like you need to attach this to the filter first and then put it on the faucet. I am positive that the instructions are in the book they give you. They are very good about, yeah, actually, here it is right here. This is the very first step. Very good about putting really clear diagrams, so you can totally do that just by following that. If you try it and you have questions, just pop it in the comments and I'll try to walk you through it, or maybe I'll do like a separate video at some point. So your sprayer attachment should go on the faucet unit first, and then you're going to put this on your actual faucet. So I'm going to line that up again. Twist it back on, just using my hands, but like I said, if you need like extra grip, You could use a wrench, just cushion it with like a rag or a towel or something so it doesn't scratch. Or you could use like a rubber husband, whatever you need to do. So that's really it. It's on there. If I have like a big pot in my sink, I need to get this out of the way. This does rotate. Usually if I'm like moving this around a lot, I'll just like give this an extra twist to make sure that's not coming loose. When you first get this installed, they do tell you let the water run through the filter for a few minutes, and that will just flush out any of the filter material that has maybe come loose, and it'll just get you set up, and then you can start using it for your drinking water, cooking water. So just a few like handy like tips that may or may not be in the instructions from the brand itself, but stuff that I've definitely learned after using these for so long. You definitely never want to run hot water through the filter, so only run cold water through here. If you need hot water for washing dishes, just use the regular tap water. If you need hot water for cooking, just run it cold and then heat it up for whatever you need. There will be a chemical reaction, and it will make the filter less effective if you run hot water through here. So you don't want to do anything that's going to impact the ability of this to filter out all that, the lead and the herbicides and stuff. The other thing that they say is that this filter does not filter out like bacteria, for example. So hopefully, usually you will never have that problem. If for some unfortunate reason you do have bacteria that ends up in your drinking water in your city, hopefully they will issue like a boil water warning. And then in that case, you could run it through here to get all the other stuff out, and then you would still want to boil that water before you use it for drinking or cooking. So just make sure, like, if you're hearing about that, like there's a problem with your water mains, or there's a boil water warning in your city or your neighborhood, you want to be aware of that, and then you want to run it through the filter first and boil it following the instructions that the public health department gives you. So that's like the serious stuff. Hopefully that's not a common issue for you. This is actually a sensor light, and when it's brand new, it should blink green. That's telling me that the filter is working fine, and I have plenty of time left to keep using this filter inside here. Eventually it should change to yellow, like when it's like, hey, just a reminder, like time is coming up, that 3-month time period. You need to buy a replacement filter soon. And then when it turns red, it's like you need to stop using this filter cartridge and change the filter right away. It's just on a timer. I've used the filters long after the light turns red. I try to get extra mileage out of them by just using the regular tap water for like washing my dishes, because that uses the most water, but so you can stretch it out in that sense. Their filters, they're not cheap, so I would say, be resourceful however you have to, in that sense, but you do want to try to stay on schedule, especially if you have little kids, or if you know that your water has quality issues in your city. Just stick to that 3-month schedule, you know, save up your money, whatever, to get the 4-pack of cartridges, so you can just change it at the beginning of each season, basically, you know, spring, summer, winter, fall. You can set a reminder on your phone, like if I were gonna be smart today, I would just set a reminder in my phone to come on 3 months from today to tell me to change this filter. And I say that in relation to this lighting system, because a lot of times, like, this doesn't work at all, or it might stop working halfway through my 3-month period with this faucet filter cartridge, or maybe I just changed the cartridge, and when I reinstalled it back in here, the light didn't reset. So now it's still on like yellow or red because it doesn't realize that it's a new filter. So you can't always trust the lighting, but just keep track of your time, set a reminder on your phone, and change them. You know, and that's a good time to like also change the batteries in your smoke detectors and stuff like that. Like, just work it into your regular household routines. So that's filters, the light thing. I guess the last thing, these, even though this is the most expensive one, I'm still planning that I'm gonna have to replace this in about a year. For whatever reason, as much as they've changed the design and like done all this advanced, like the chemistry with the filters and stuff, they are still a consumer company and they want your money, so it's still pretty much like a cheap unit. It's gonna stop working after about a year. I don't think I've ever gotten more than like 18 months of use out of one of these. That's why I'm replacing mine right now. So what will happen once you get to the like year mark, year and a half, is this actual thing will start like having water leaking out of all these little like seams and places when you have the filter on. And sometimes it'll like spray in every direction and spray in your face and stuff like that. So that's your sign to just order yourself a new one, because it's not going to get better. There's no way you can repair it or fix it. You just can't. So I'm just giving you that warning because that's my experience. They will not give you, you know, a refund. They don't have a warranty or anything like that. That's their business model. So you just have to plan like every year and a half or so, shell out your $30 or whatever for a new one. And you know what? That's still like a lot less money than you would spend on bottled water. So it's absolutely worth it. It's just one of those annoying things. What else? Right, so the coupon comes in the box. I almost never see coupons for these, so save this. I'm sure people sell them online too, so you can look there. I usually have no trouble finding these at like Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and that's where I get the replacement filters also. And again, I try to get the most expensive ones, the ones that are for the max ion, because that's their product line that filters out the most harmful chemicals. So you may as well splurge on it. You know, it's worth it for your health and for your kids. So that's it's just a small price to pay when you think about how much water you use for cooking and everything. So that's it. I'm done. I'm just gonna let the water run through here now so that it flushes out all the loose stuff. And then, you know, like I'm ready to go. I can fill up water bottles if I need to, going out for the day. I can fill up a big jug to stick in my fridge so it's nice and cold. Use this for cooking, use this for my ice cubes, like whatever you need. So I will put my tips and my advice again in the description. If you have any trouble or questions following along with the installation, pop a question in the comments. And, you know, here's a challenge too, like if you are a designer, if your kids are into STEM and design, if you're somebody that uses a makerspace, I would say just iterate on this concept of like water filtration for renters in North America. Flint, Michigan still has lead in their water. So this is, you know, a market category that has a lot of opportunity for better solutions. You know, this is pretty good, but if we can have something that is small, compact, easy for people of all abilities and strengths to install it without tools, you know, and then if we can, you know, add on capabilities to it, like add on some of the biological filtration, you know, wherever you see, like when you do your research, wherever you see there's an opportunity, like we need to iterate on this. Water is life. And, you know, we have a lot of issues in this country with our public water utilities selling out to for-profit bottling companies and raising our rates. And so, you know, everybody has a right to have clean, healthy water, and it's a big problem. So there's a lot of opportunity with this if you're a designer, engineer, scientist. You know, play around with these ideas, do your research, and, you know, give Pure and Brita competition. Like, they have a duopoly basically on this, and you know, they do a good job, but we as people, as citizens, you know, consumers, we deserve to have more options and better designs. So maybe somebody out there will be able to create the next best faucet filtration for renters. So that's your challenge. Okay, drop comments, questions in the comments section. I will make sure that I check on them. If you have other resources, you can link them there for other people to look at, or any other tips on like public health or how to, you know, make the most of it as a renter in your home so that your family is healthy and safe, and, you know, we're contributing to the environment in positive ways. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.